Hi, and welcome again to this last video of this video series about how to build a chat using create-soroban-dapp. In the last video, we implemented the contract and deployed it, and now we will see how to build the front end and to make it interact with the contract. This is the front end as it is now. What we want to do is to have we will probably reuse this little component here to send a message. Here we will display the conversation, and here we will display some like the list of initiated conversations. Let's go then to the front end part. So here we are going to work into the source in the source environment here. So we can maybe we can close this terminal here. Yeah, so this is the main file where everything is happening. You can refine everything here in the index here. So you can see that we have the chain info here. We have the interactor with the contract here. So let's just comment out the things we will not use. So we will not use the chain info here. So just remove the chain info so it's a bit more clean. We can try to see here we have a good connection with the greeting contract. We can now try to see if we get a good connection with our chat contract. To do this, let's do something maybe simple to just check the connection. Let's just take our read title function here from our greeting contract and put it in our chat contract so that we can see here without changing anything in the front end if the connection is working. Let's just put this is a success here. And now we can deploy our contract again. Contract. So we can go to chat and make the contract. Perfect. So now we can deploy our contract. We can see that our deployment JSON got actualized here. So this is very good. What we will do here now, we go in the front end. So source, components, web3, greeter contract interaction, and we will change. So here is the line where we fetch our contract, when we retrieve our contract from our deployed contract. This little hook here, use registered contract, which needs to be imported from Soroban React here, will basically, what it does is that it gets the connected chain from the Soroban React context and will search for the greeting contract in our deployment JSON here, the greeting contract that is deployed on the chain we are using. So this is what is happening here. So if normally, if we just change here to chat, here we should say, tell our front end to connect to the chat instead. So let's say if this is working well. Yes, so here we have our string that we changed on the chat contract. So we managed to connect to the chat contract. So let's use this fetch greeting function already written for us and tweak it slightly to be able to retrieve the list of conversation initiated by the user. So to do this, I'm gonna define a new state variable. We'll call it fetched conversation initiated list and set conversation initiated list. Use state. The addresses will be strings, so the list of addresses will be an array of string here, and by default we want an empty array. Okay, so this function here now we can, this is for error handling. If the server, the RPC server is not set, if the active chain, current chain is not set, then we cannot fetch anything from the blockchain. If we can, then we get here and we call this method here from the contract object. So the contract object is basically a wrapper around this deployment info here. So you've got the contract address, the contract ID, and the network passphrase. And so you can find it here, contract.deployment info. And you also have the invoke function here, which is used to call some methods on the contract. Here, we will tweak this function here to call the correct function on the contract here. So before we had the read title function here, and now we want to read the conversation initiated. So we will basically change this conversations initiated. So this is the same name as our contract here. And we want to pass as an argument the address of the connected user. So the address of the connected user is this address here. This address can be undefined if there is no user connected. So here we will add a little, we will add another test here to check that the address is defined. If not, we just cannot fetch anything here. Connected, when it's not connected here. And now we can here get the address. So the thing here is that the address is a string. We cannot send the address directly like this because we are using scval to communicate with our smart contract. So we need to transform this into an scval. So to do this, we use the Stellar SDK, and we will basically create a new address object using our address value, and we will convert it to an scval here. We'll do this a lot in our contract for each of our function each time we have an address to convert here. And so here we have our method here. We can see, so here we are not setting the greeter message anymore. We are setting the conversation initiated list. So we can just change this here to this. Perfect. This result string is not working anymore because we get a string here. So we will change, we get a result from our call. So this result will be an scval. So we want to translate this result into a native type of JavaScript. So to do this, we can use the Stellar SDK once more, and use the scval to native here. And this will not be a result, this will be result array. And this should work. This will basically parse the type to match the type we want. We can check if everything is working here by displaying just here maybe console logging our result, maybe result array here. So we'll basically console log our result to see if that works. Okay, so let's check our function here. Yes, I want to share. Okay, so we are connected here, but we can see in our console log that we get the proper array here. So this is good. We get what we want. Now that we can retrieve the conversation initiated, let's go to our send message functionality. So we are gonna change how if you check here, the update greeting here is using a form control here with one input and using some use form hook here. So I'm gonna change this use form here to use another data type. So our type here will become the new message data. So new message will be a string and a destination address. Destination address here. And this new message data will be used as the data for our use form here. So now we'll have some, so this will be needed to change as new message data here. So this will take a new message and a destination address. Perfect. And below in our form here, we want to add a new input. We can disable it if the update is loading here the same way. And we want to register this new input as the destination address. And I need to close this. I can close it that way maybe. Okay, I'm going to put this above and let's see what does that give here. Okay, so I can change the greeting by send message. Okay, so yes, this is good. We have our send message with our destination address here and some message I can send here. So now I have to link this submit function to, so this submit function update greeting as my message sending function. So let's go to update greeting here. So we have as input new message and destination address. So here, our contract, we will not invoke the set title, but if you go back to our contract, we want this write message function here. So we are gonna invoke the write message function here. And as argument, we want from, to, and the message string. So we can keep this as the last argument, but we need the from. The from will be the current address connected to the user. So same as earlier, new stellar dk.address. We could define a helper function for this, but let's do this like this for now. To scval here. So this will be our from address. We need to do the same for our destination address. So our destination address is an argument of the form. It is the destination address here. Perfect. And this seems to be all we need to do. So now that we have done this, we can try to send a message and see if the retrieved initiated conversation list is updated. Let's go back to our front end and see that here we are retrieving an empty array. So this seems to work. Let's try to send a new message here to any address here. Say, hey, submit. So I have to accept the transaction. And we should normally retrieve here a new array here. So there is a lot of logging here, but this is what's important here. So we have opened a new conversation with GAB, and this is this GAB here. Perfect. So this is working. The next step will be to build our React components for the chat. So let's go there. Let's create a new file to display conversation list. Up here. Okay. So we'll basically create a component to display the list of check UI of initiated conversation. So the function here will be default function conversation list up. We can define what we will need here. So a conversations list here. Here, let's define our interface here. Interface will be conversation list. Conversations list. So it will be an array of string, because we want to store all the addresses that I have retrieved from the contract, from the conversations initiated. So here this will be conversation list props, and this will give us a little. Okay, so here we can basically we will iterate on all our conversations here, all our addresses, and just display them. So let's just do this with the magic of React. Up. For each conversation, we have an address, and we will get the index up, stack, take a card, we take a card and we just put the address inside. Okay, maybe I should do some empty div here to, yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so I'll just wrap everything into one div. So let's put this conversation list item in our front end now. So we'll basically import it, import conversation lists from, we have some, oh, okay, so from chat conversation list. Yeah, this is the default value, so I have to import it like this. So this conversation list here, we will basically use it here. So instead of our fetch greeting here, which is now useless, I'm just gonna put a conversation list with as props. I'm just gonna give conversation list equals to the fetch conversation list that we have here. Okay. Maybe I forget to maybe I should close it. That would be useful. Nice. Okay, let's see what we get now. Perfect. So we have our initiated here. If I send to a new one, a new address, any others, hey, now I should see happening here a new. Perfect. This is good. Nice and neat. We can make it a little bit more beautiful if we do some styling. So I'm not a pro with styling, so I'm just gonna take the style that I know works. So I will just add to the conversation list here in the card. I'm gonna add some little details here. I'm gonna put it a little nicer. Okay, how does that look now? This looks much better. Now we have the list of conversation initiated that is displaying with our send message. Now what would be nice would be that if we click here on one of these conversation, then the conversation displays on the right. This would be very cool. So for this, we will add a new state variable. We will call it okay, I'll add it here. So this, I will call it the displayed conversation address. Displayed conversation. So this will be a string. Sorry. And by default, it will be an empty string. Perfect. So this displayed conversation address will be the address of the conversation we want to display right now. So this should be updated when we click on this little tile here. So how can we do this? So how I just do it was to pass the setter as a prop to the conversation list. So to do this, I'm just gonna change here and add a set conversation displayed address here, which will basically be a method of like new displayed address string to a void. Perfect. So this setter here will be in here, and here I can change the onclick of this little card, onclick, to just call the set conversation displayed address with the address that is the address of the card here. First, I also need to put it like this. Perfect. Nice. This is good. So here, each time we'll click on the card, this will set the new conversation displayed address. So we can check it maybe by creating a new, or just creating a new card very quickly here. Card. And here we will display the conversation displayed displayed conversation address. Sorry, I'm getting confused with my not very good names of variable. Okay, so here, let's see what we get here. This doesn't change. If we click here, oh, okay, we have an issue here. Of course, it is because we didn't pass this as a prop. Conversation list here is red because we didn't pass the prop. We set conversation display address equals set conversation display. Oh, my variable names are not the best. They are like switched and whatever. Let's try again now. Here, perfect. So this is working. Now that we can select the chat we want to see, let's try to display this chat. So we need first to create a chat component, a message component, let's say, and a conversation component, and to retrieve the conversation and all the messages from the backend. Let's start by creating a component for our message. So new file, message, tsx, and there we go. Okay, so let's define our type for one message. Our message will be, if you remember well from the contract, we will take the same type. Message here is a string and from address. So let's just use this message as a string and from as a string too. From there, we can define our props for our message component. So this will basically be a message. Message. Okay, and now we can build our component itself. So message tag as message. Okay, this is okay. Now we just need to do this. Okay, so we will just return like message dot message and message from, let's say. Up like this. This is already a good start. Okay, now we need to define a conversation here. Conversation .tsx. Up. Our conversation will be let's say the face. So conversation props. We will have in our conversation props. We'll have the conversation as an array of message, right? So we need to import the message type here. Maybe we'll propose. Okay, perfect. Here, nice. And we export our conversation. Conversation props. And we basically iterate on our conversation map. So conversation map dot message and index number, and we iterate on that. Oh, sorry, not that one. I will use that one. And we basically give out a message. So we give it a key so that React is happy with unique keys for every child. And we give it a message here. So is complaining. And we need to basically Okay, this looks good. Maybe here I have a type and a function. Let's so that it's more, that it's not ambiguous. I will just do this here and here import the message type. Okay. Now that we have this component, we need to actually get the conversation from the front end, because for now, until now, we haven't gotten any conversation from the front end. So let's go back here. So we'll basically take this update greeting here. No, this fetch greeting here. So I'll just basically copy paste that, and we're gonna tweak it. So here we will call this fetch conversation, and so we will keep this as it is. I will need a new state variable, so I'm gonna put my state variable with everyone else here, and displayed conversation, set displayed conversation, use state, state string. No, this is an array of message. So message type. And we need to import. Okay. And by default, it will be empty. Perfect. Here in fetch conversation here, we will basically here call read conversation. If you recall well, in our contract, our read method is called read conversation. So we go here, read conversation from, so this is our from address. So we need the to address. The to address is given by our display, our displayed conversation address here. 1, 2, and civil here. And this is all what I need here. And here, we don't want to set conversation initialized, we want to set the displayed conversation. And if not, we will display something empty. And so we have something here. Maybe we should here, if this is, we should try, and if this is empty, so if we haven't clicked on any of the chat yet, we can choose to not return a conversation here, to not do this. So maybe here we can do an if else if displayed conversation and of this display conversation address. Sorry, maybe I don't need this, I just need this. Okay, and here we should get something here. So let's just try and see. And here, let's just, instead of this, I'm gonna put my conversation here as props. I'm gonna go conversation equals to displayed conversation here. Okay, and let's see what we get. Okay, this doesn't seem to be working, so let's maybe check what we have here. So this fetch conversation here is not used. Yes, so this can be one of the reason why. A bit front end, so if the address change, I also want to update. So this is the use effect, so this function here will be triggered if one of these changes. Let's not forget to add here. So this function here, fetch conversation, is using a use callback hook here. The value of the function will be recomputed only when these elements will change. So I should also here add the displayed conversation address here. Otherwise, this display conversation address here will never be updated here in the function, and that's why we would get the same address fetched again and again because it's never updated here. So if I do this now, I should here see that here it changes, and we can see different value updating. Okay, that's amazing. Let's try to make this fit nicer. So we will display this on the right. To do this, we will add a flex div. Play. So this flex div, we will basically take it all the way up there. I don't need to display this. Let's just remove the contract address display for now. So this flex div will end here, and I will this column here. I will just make it end before our conversation here. Okay, so here it's good. Okay, this is cool. This is working. If I send a new message to this address here, so that we have more than one message displayed. Hello, how are you? Oh, I send a message to myself actually, because I copied the wrong address here. So let's just send another message to myself. It's a surprise. Perfect. This is displaying. Not the best way, but something is here. So let's tweak our component to display it a bit better. To do that, I'm gonna go in message here. So I'm just gonna use the box thing that I used that I know will look okay. So just gonna import everything up. This text box here was imported from Chakra UI also. Cannot import it. Okay, I'm just gonna import it from there. Okay, perfect. So this will just be like this for now. Let's see how does that look. Okay, this is good, nice and neat. So it's still displaying one after the other. So let's see how to change that. So we'll go on the conversation here, and we will basically put everything inside of a card. That should do it probably. Here and card here, I need to import it. Well, I'm just gonna use my little magic styling here. So it's just a bunch of tailoring CSS that will work well here. And we have that. So yeah, this is quite cool. I wonder if I have other account that I can log to. So JABS, I have it here. So I'm just gonna log into JABS here. I see that I only have one chat open here, which is quite nice. So I can just go there and send a message to GDTQ from there and say, hello, you, and just submit it. I have to prove the transaction, prove, and here we have our new chat here. This is cool. A little bug here, which is a bit weird though. I have my conversation here. I can see who wrote, and if I change again here, I go back to GDTQ. I can see here, hello you. So this is what I just sent by GDTABS. And this is it. We've done it. We have a working chat application working on Soroban. This was a long video, but I thought it would be nice to explain everything. There are several things we could add to this chat to make it a bit nicer, a bit more user-friendly. But at least now we've seen everything from the contract to the front-end integration with how to use create-soroban-dapp to make it a bit easier for first introduction to the ecosystem. And I hope you liked it, and if it helped in any way, I'm very glad. You can contact me on Discord if you have any question or any remarks or any things you want to share. I'm more than open to discuss with you. It's been a pleasure, and hope you will do great with Soroban and your development journey.